Welcome to Sage Audio. Today let's look at how to make a balanced mix. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Use gradual, high-pass filters. The tips in this video are in no particular order, so apply them to your mixes as needed. By gradual high-pass filter, I'm specifically referring to 6 to 12 dB per octave slope filters. Now, I'd recommend these for two reasons. First, they sound much more natural, as if the instrument or vocal originally lacked these frequencies. Second, 18 dB per octave filters and higher cause 180-degree phase shifts. Now, this may not be a problem, but if you have another, very similar signal that occupies the frequency at which this phase shift occurs, it could result in a notch filter due to phase cancellation. Now, as you'd imagine, the sharper the slope, the more aggressive and numerous these filters become. Again, this might not cause issues, but when they do, it might be hard to understand what exactly is sounding unbalanced. So let's take a listen to a demo designed to showcase the worst possible case scenario of using these sharp filters. Balance low end with EQ. A big way a mix can become unbalanced is between the kick and bass. Now, when these overlap in frequency, it's hard to find a good relationship between the two. With an EQ inserted on the kick, sidechain the bass or synth and observe where they overlap. Then attenuate the bass's fundamentals on the kick. Alternatively, if you know the notes of the bass, you can attenuate those on the kick. Let's take a listen to how this balances the kick and bass, and it helps with the overall low end. If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it helps us bring you more videos. Balance low end with compression. Bass ducking is pretty common since it helps balance the relationship between the kick and the bass. That said, I'll place the compressor on the bass, sidechain the kick, and then isolate the trigger to only the low frequencies before achieving about 1 to 3 dB of compression. It's an old technique, but can definitely come in handy and can be done with just about any compressor. Let's take a listen. Bright, but not harsh. Like the low end, the high end of a mix is difficult to get right. You want clarity and brightness without an unwanted harsh sound. Now, the best way to achieve this, in my opinion, is dynamically control 6 to 10 kHz before amplifying the high range with an EQ. To illustrate this idea clearly, I'm going to process a full mix with a high shelf filter amplified by a few dB. Then I'll enable a multi-band dynamics processor to control 6 to 10 kHz so that you can hear the difference. Now, although I'll demonstrate this on a full mix, I'll apply this concept to individual instruments, especially vocals.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
How to destroy a mix. Let's quickly cover one of the biggest mistakes that we can make when trying to achieve a balanced mix, compressing the stereo output. Now, I can understand the appeal, it controls the dynamics, makes the sound loud if auto makeup gain is on, etc. But it ruins the musicality. It does this by altering the totality of the mix's dynamics, meaning if it's not set correctly or if it's used aggressively, your mix's balance will be completely off, at least from a dynamic perspective. So let's take a listen to what I'm talking about, and keep in mind that you should definitely avoid this.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
Thinking of compression musically. Last chapter, I brought up the idea of compression being musical, so let's take a look at that a little more. Now, although some instruments are more related to groove and rhythm, all performances have some relation to it, meaning whenever compression is used, it will always interrupt or alter that rhythm. Now, we mainly control this with the compressor's attack and release to determine when and for how long compression occurs. By dividing 60,000 by our BPM, we know the time of a quarter note in milliseconds. If we were to set our attack and release to this value, we've essentially told the compressor to wait 1 quarter note before compressing and then compress for 1 quarter note. By using multiples or divisions of this quarter note value, we could do something like waiting a 16th note, then compressing for a half note. Now, it really depends on the signal, but you could try some variations to keep the natural rhythm of your track intact. Let's take a listen to this concept being applied and notice how it achieves dynamic balance while still retaining the musicality and the rhythm of the track. Today's video is brought to you by LaLal AI, a next-generation neural network trained in separating and extracting various instruments and signals, all with minimal audio artifacts. To use it, simply upload your track, let the AI process it, and then preview the results. It can separate vocals from instrumentation, as well as drums, bass, electric guitar, and more. Additionally, they offer a vocal cleaning program that's great at attenuating unwanted noise from a vocal or dialogue. Right now, they're offering a free starter package, so check that out using the link in the description. Conceptualize leveling with frequency response. A huge part of balancing a mix is establishing levels with the faders, but if I can, I'd suggest not conceptualizing the process as I need more kick or I need more synth, etc. Instead, think of it in terms of the frequency range that the signal that you're affecting occupies. So if I need more low mids, maybe this low register guitar would help balance the response. Or if I'm lacking some highs, I could bring the drum overheads up slightly. Now, if you think of each signal as occupying a space within the frequency spectrum and you tailor the levels to filling that space, you'll find it easier to have all instruments included in a way that still sounds balanced overall. Let's take a listen to leveling and try to keep the frequency response in mind. If you're enjoying the channel, use the search box to watch more of our videos. How to reduce ear fatigue. Ear fatigue occurs when a mix is too static. In other words, the frequencies are always the same at the same amplitude. Now, we typically keep this from happening by retaining dynamics, but introducing subtle frequency response randomization is another way this issue could be remedied. Now, I'll use the Shade EQ and introduce randomization filters before attaching these to various EQ filters. Now, although the effect is subtle, you'll notice that this variation helps keep things balanced and the mix from being too static. Let's take a listen.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
Exploring new balancing tools. Two tools that I'd recommend checking out are the Gullfoss EQ and Soothe 2, both of which mainly affect the frequency response, but also the dynamics. Now, if you place the Gullfoss on your various buses, it should help create room for each respective signal, especially if you sidechain one bus to another. Now, Soothe 2, on the other hand, will dynamically attenuate resonances, which is especially helpful when you're trying to balance a vocal with surrounding instrumentation. Let's take a listen to Soothe 2 and the Gullfoss equalizers being introduced to a mix.
Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air. Made a mixtape in the stairway, pulled the sound out of the air.
Phase rotation balancing. Maybe I'm getting a little too literal here, but let's cover balancing the peaks and troughs of a waveform, in this case, our full stereo mix. In RX, I'll use the phase tool and click suggest to measure if the phase has been offset, then I'll process according to that suggestion. As a result, the polarity of the waveform becomes balanced, resulting in a mix that sounds the exact same, but has its peaks more accurately represented when processed. If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.